Watch where you or your pet or children go. It's pine processionary caterpillar season again, and as we go about our day, so do they. They're a familiar sight during the winter months now due to the warmer climate. They're not an invasive species, they're native to this region, and we have to just live with them, but best to stay out of their way.
I mean, most people in Gibraltar are aware of the caterpillars and they're used to seeing them. They usually walk in single file along a long trail, and what they should do is simply leave them alone because they release these urticating hairs that can cause a rash, and they can do so even if you don't come into direct contact with them if you get close enough to them. So what you should do simply is leave them alone. Particularly important is if you're walking a dog, for example, then make sure that the dog stays clear of the caterpillars. You really don't want your dogs to eat the caterpillars because they can cause really significant damage. And obviously keep children away because, I mean, they're not dangerous to most people, but they do cause a very itchy, nasty rash.
The caterpillar population locally has been reduced with the help of tree collars and pheromone traps for moths.
There are two different types of traps that we use here in the Botanic Gardens. One is a pheromone trap that is used to attract the males so that they don't get to breed with the females, but the other one, the one that's wrapped around the trunk, is basically a trap that intercepts these lines of these rows of caterpillars as they're walking down the tree trunks, and they basically collect the caterpillars. What the caterpillars are doing at that stage is that they've finished growing, they've eaten all they need to eat, and they then head down to the ground to find some soil in which to bury themselves to pupate and then emerge as the moth. And these intercept traps stop them from doing so. What we try to achieve here in the Alameda is not to eradicate them completely, but to control their numbers. They're a natural part of the garden, they're food for other wildlife, and we don't want to eliminate them completely, but we do understand that they cause issues with the public, and therefore we want to keep their numbers under control.
If you live in an area with pine trees, it's best to look around and watch your surroundings, particularly if you're with children or walking your pets, as the caterpillars feed off the needles of pine trees and are likely to be found there. This could include the Botanic Garden, the Upper Rock, or housing estates more generally. If you or your pet do come into contact with one, make sure you get in touch with a doctor or a vet.